well-planned and sustainable communities. UDI promotes wise and efficient urban growth, good planning, good development practices, affordable housing, and high-quality commercial and industrial developments. The activities of UDI members contribute to more than $20 billion and 250,000 jobs to the provincial economy annually. While at UDI, Matt has been responsible for affordable housing research, carrying out liaison work with municipalities on affordable housing policy, and building relationships with many of the great non-profit housing societies throughout the Lower Mainland. Prior to UDI, Matt spent time working for the federal government through Western Economic Diversification, as well as the province through the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Fisheries, and the Ministry of Water, Land and Air Protection. Matt will be speaking to us on cost and funding issues.
This will be interesting. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I also want to say that I feel very privileged to be able to have this opportunity to speak to all of you tonight and address this very important issue. Housing and homelessness is very important to the future of the City of Vancouver and to all the communities that we live in, and I feel very glad to have this opportunity to discuss this with you tonight. I was asked to come and kind of put a foreshadow kind of an idea of what it is that we're dealing with when we're talking about affordable housing and the cost of development. We're getting there. The cost of development. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about, a lot of people are always asking, so why is it that affordable housing is so expensive? How come we can't build more affordable housing? How come developers can't build more rental units? How come there's not enough low income? And the simple answer to all that is cost. The cost environment right now for real estate development is nothing short of ridiculous. I've been taking a look at some of the numbers over the past couple of weeks again, looking at some of the guys that we had doing work over in Toronto, a lot of the guys who are doing work in Vancouver, and the numbers are off the charts. It doesn't really matter what type of affordable housing you're building. It doesn't matter if you want to build rental. It doesn't matter if you want to build low income. It doesn't matter if you want to build housing for seniors, housing for people who have other needs, or people who have disabilities. The costs are all the same. And until those costs can come down, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to build any affordable housing. One group cannot do it. You need everybody to come to the table. And we're still working on it. I think we're just a second away here. So we've been looking at land costs is one cost that we're going to look at. The actual construction cost is another one, and then the final one that everyone likes to talk about is developers' profit. And why do developers need to make as much profit as they do? Now, when you're looking at land prices, maybe we'll see the numbers later. But when it comes to land prices, there's some numbers from the City of Vancouver recent sales. If you want to buy land in the downtown east side, you're looking at $60 a square foot. If you want to buy land in just east of Main Street there, you're looking at $100 a square foot. If you want to buy in the west side of Vancouver, in downtown, you're looking at $160 a square foot. If you want to buy in southeast, or if you want to buy at Kerrisdale there, you're looking at $200 a square foot. And if you want to buy in UBC, you're looking at $250 a square foot. Some recent sales, Bosman Hotel went for $185 a square foot. Southeast Falls Creek is going for $210. Now, a lot of people look across the country and they say, well, okay, well, why is Vancouver so expensive compared to everywhere else? In Toronto, land in a comparable area to what we're considering downtown Vancouver goes for $40 a square foot. So we're looking at $160 for prime downtown property, square foot for prime downtown property in Vancouver versus $40 in the same kind of comparable area in Toronto. Outside of Toronto, when you start getting into some of the burbs, you can get land for $15 a square foot. This is just the first reason for why we're so restricted. We're in a situation where we have mountains to the north, we have the border to the south, we're surrounded by water, we have the ALR to the east. Our landslide is incredibly restricted, and that really hurts our costs, and that really hurts our land costs. And that right there puts us 4 times more expensive just on land than we are for another place like Toronto, another metropolitan area like Toronto. So that's just land costs. We can get to the third slide. Now, if we're going to look at another one, we're going to look at construction costs. Construction costs. And this is kind of another demonstration of what we're dealing with. We're very short on labor. We're dealing with a lot of really large projects, big, huge infrastructure projects here in BC. And it's great for the economy, but at the same time, it's really stressing our labor supply. We're trying to get more labor to come in from other places across the country, but a lot of them are stopping over in Fort McMurray. And as a result of that, we don't have any labor here, and that's really driving up the cost of construction. If you want to build a standard concrete project here in Vancouver, you're looking at $300 a square foot, and that's for something that's very basic. We're not talking about any high-end finishes or any, fancy appliances. It's just very base models, $300 a square foot. If you want to build something that's going to be a little bit more fancy, you're looking at $450 a square foot. So a lot of the premium product that you're seeing out there, that's $450 a square foot. In Toronto, the situation is very, very different once again. And as a result of that, the labor market over there and everything else, you can build the same product in Toronto for $140 a square foot. And right there, you're starting to see the way this picture is developing. The costs here are just ridiculous. And, this is all before developers have put in any profit. I haven't included the developer's profit in any of these numbers yet. I'm still getting to that. So that's where we're sitting with that. Now, if we were to take an example, what does this mean? What's the overall, how can you put any perspective on this? So if we look at this slide here, we're going to take an example. Let's say we're going to build a concrete high-rise in downtown Vancouver. And we're going to have a 1-acre site. We want to build it for seniors. We want to build it so they can, so it's going to target an income of less than $20,000 a year. The units are going to be about 400 square feet, and the developer's profit that we're going to build into it is 20%. How much is it going to cost to build that in Vancouver, and how much is it going to cost to build that in Toronto? What's the difference? What does that mean as far as rent? What does that mean as far as incomes? If we go to the next slide. So in Vancouver, your land costs, as we've gone over, about $160 a square foot. Your construction is $300 a square foot. And your soft costs, so when you're looking at your legal costs and your marketing costs, work out to about $90 a square foot. Overall, you're looking at $550 a square foot. This is a square foot. This costs $550 in Vancouver. You want to do the same thing in Toronto? It costs you less than half of this. It's $216. And when you have prices like that, this is why, I have one of my buddies, my partner in crime, who was working with the UDI. He just quit back in towards the end of August because he wanted to go and he wanted to start a life for himself. So he went back to Ontario.